Hey, good evening, everyone, and Green Flag is out on this version of the Go Fast podcast. Rob Hinckley, Corey Peterson, Kelly Jeffries all here, and it's going to be a great one. We're looking forward to it as we review the 2020 season here at the Bull Ring, and then talk about everything that went on. Great weekend also down at the Lee County Speedway in Donaldson, and so we'll talk about that, maybe get in a couple words about the Peoria Mars show as we were down there for their season championship. The Mars show was there as well. So lots to do. I always forget that. There it
It sounds like there's an echo. Is there an echo?
Echo, not anymore. That's because my phone was up. I just turned my phone down. But I'll check the audio mixer one more time.
And there, we'll turn that one off. All right, so we'll rock and roll. And as we always do, news and some results from the weekend. And Team Done Right, awesome job over the weekend. The Roberts Motorsports cars, after being off a couple weeks, back to MLRA action down at Lucas Oil Speedway, and they racked it up. Great runs by both Jeremiah Hurst, Garrett Alberson, and Jeremiah Hurst is now the point leader of the MLRA going into the final weekend of the season. So congratulations to Ken Roberts and the entire team. As that's all right. As they head to Tri-City Speedway, Pontoon Beach, and still got a bad echo. Okay,
I think it's good now.
I think it's good now. I shut off everything that I had echoing, so hopefully the echo is gone. They head to Tri-City, and then also I believe Randolph County in Moberly, Missouri on Sunday to round out the MLRA schedule. Tyler Soppe, I didn't get an update on him. Was he down at Donaldson? Tyler Soppe?
He was.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so Tyler ran Donaldson the other night, and Friday and Saturday, and boy, Brayton Carter on a roll. He won both nights down at Donaldson in the sport mods. So we go around the track and around the room, and so I know you saw a lot of action. In fact, I was reading Brian Neal's recap of Lee County Speedway. A bunch of races, a bunch of laps, a bunch of different winners down there, Kelly.
Yeah, that was a great show. It really was. It was the weather was perfect. Wow. Yeah, track was great. 160 some cars. I think 140 to 160. So 300 cars in 2 days. Really good show. Yeah, it was a good time. I like that track. Them guys are great too to work with. So shout out to them. We got another one coming up, I think, on the 31st. So we're not quite done down there, but it's been a great time down there. I've been living. That's my Friday night track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been my home for all year. So thanks, guys. It was great hanging out.
142 cars signed in on Friday, according to Brian Neal down there. 169 on Saturday. The 2-day total, 311. 191 different drivers over the 2 days. And they had Friday 26 races, 272 laps. Saturday 32 races, 347 laps. So the weekend total, 58 races, 619 laps. Only one repeat winner on the weekend out of 10 features ran, and that was Brayton Carter in the sport mods. 9 states represented, and Spencer Dirks about had himself another big win, and Jeff Ike passed him on Saturday. We saw Spencer down at Peoria on Friday night, so we had Spencer on all weekend. Let's see what else. $3,000 to win Sport Compact went to Jake Benishek, so congratulations to him. I know they tune in on a regular basis, so it was a good weekend. I'm glad that it went well for him. We look forward to being down there for the Shiverfest on October 31st. Turn our attention to the Bull Ring, and just some takeaways. First of all, before we get into the review of the weekend, and first of all, man, what a great weekend you had. I thought overall, Corey.
Yeah, a lot of new cars, a lot of cars, period, that came. It was great to see a great turnout for the Ron Marks race Saturday night. And, we just wanted to do some kind of a 2-day show. I don't remember when there was ever back-to-back races at the Bull Ring ever since I was racing. So we wanted to try to do something to make up for, all the lost races, the rainouts, the COVID, schedule and all that. And, you know, we wanted to do a special before, but this was thrown together kind of quickly, and it seemed to work really well. A lot of people were excited about the Powder Puff mechanic races and, you know, throwing the midgets and the vintage late models, and you got a whole weekend of all kinds of different classes of racing. So yesterday with those kids on the track too, that was so cool to see.
That was pretty cool.
You know, we had the idea, and then Peoria did the same thing Friday night.
Right.
I saw too, and you know, we kind of watched them on your broadcast and saw what they did, and it was just great. You know, the kids love being around those cars and seeing those drivers being people, not just you know, numbers or, you know, whatever's going by them there. So I thought it was a great weekend too. Great turnouts, lots of cars, lots of new cars, lots of different cars. So yeah, I hope to see a lot of those guys back. And our track surface, you know, got better as each day went on. As we were thinking it was going to be colder, you know, that was the whole reason we started it too. But here we go with that day racing at the bull ring again. It dries up real quick with the sun beating down. So, but you know, the weekend before was cold. So how can you know, how do you judge? We don't know. But overall, pretty good weekend. Yeah, absolutely.
I think so. I don't think we had a repeat winner over the weekend, if I remember right.
No, I don't believe so either. Yeah, I have been kind of a whirlwind, you know. I had a few hours of sleep and back to work today. I haven't had much of a chance to get results looked at and everything, and I didn't get to watch much of the racing myself, actually, unfortunately. But hey, that means we were busy though, and that means I was needed at other places, and we did good. So,
well, one of my big takeaways from the weekend is congratulations on your engagement.
Hey, thank you very much.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had the idea to, you know, do it at the racetrack. Of course, that's where her and I first we didn't talk that night, but there was a night that we kind of saw each other there, and we started talking a couple days later, and you know, the rest is history, as they say. But so I knew it had to be there. That was our happy place. That's where it started, you know. And so you could tell, and I think you mentioned it later, I was really nervous on the mic, but she deserves this for everything she's done for the bull ring, especially too. And so I'm glad she was happy with it. She did say yes. For those of you that the video shows cutting out right there, or whatever. Maybe I shut the mic off on accident, worried she might say no. But yeah, thank you very much, everyone, for all the congratulations. It's a great feeling.
It is, and I know both of you have been around the racetrack your whole lives, just about. If I would have done that to my wife, she would have killed me at the racetrack. But
one story I forgot to say before, you know, I was really nervous, obviously, yesterday before doing that, but was her dad and I used to race together, and if you go back and look at it now, him and I were the fiercest of rivals back then. And so we talked about it a lot. I think at one time I even put on the back of my race car, "The buck stops here." You know, how you were talking about catchy sayings last week on there. And that's
a great one.
I think Alicia blurted that one out at that time. So funny story. We used to be heated rivals, and now future father-in-law coming up.
That's awesome. I know you have your new house and all that. So you guys are falling right into it then.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's falling into place.
Good. Hey, any other takeaways, things that you noticed? One of the things that I noticed the racing surface, I thought was great. I think we only had one race that we had to go, that we went over the 5 cautions all weekend long. And you know, and yeah, it was dusty, but everybody that won, they loved the racing surface like that.
Yeah. You know, there's few people they'll say, "Oh, it could have been wetter, tackier, whatever." But in my opinion, as a former driver, when the track slickens off, and as long as you can see ahead of you, you know, without the dust, then that brings out the driver in you. You got to slow it down a little bit. You got to finesse. You got to have everything set up right. Everything comes full circle when the track is slick like that. And you're right. The winners, the guys, they love it like that because, you know, I don't know, it gets kind of tedious and boring just going out there and flat footing it all the time, you know. So I think I heard Daniel Waters say that too, that, you know, it's much better on track like that. He told me he was going to be hooked to the bottom and all that. And, you know, and so it's nice to hear guys talking about the track. I know we had some struggles earlier in the year, but I thought it was great at the end of the year too.
I think we all had a little bit of struggles this year.
Absolutely.
This year was definitely a struggle, right?
Absolutely.
There was no doubt about that. And you know, and I think I mentioned this to you yesterday. A couple people came up and you know they've been coming there for decades and said, hey, the last 5 or 6 weeks, the action's been good and the racetrack's been good. So
Well, that's great. That's very great. And I made it a point too to go stand by the exit of the grandstands. You know, normally I started the year announcing with you, and then that was my job. And so I've been bounced around doing whatever's needed. You know, things haven't went.
Life of a promoter,
yeah,
right?
you know, things haven't went exactly as planned, obviously, but you know, so. What were we talking about? Sorry.
You're right on track. Just
There we go
talking
again.
about takeaways from the weekend and
I made it a point to go down and talk to people exiting, and I was actually kind of surprised that everyone was so happy. I hate to say that, but there has been some negative about our track this year, and I see it. Everybody sees it. There's been a lot of great, but people don't put it out there that it's great as much as they do that it's bad. And I know that, but. We're trying, we learned a lot to do for next year. And so I was kind of surprised. All the fans, great show, great weekend. That's all I heard. And maybe they're not going to say it to my face. Maybe, maybe not that it was a bad weekend. But no, the kids were all so happy. And everybody was so happy leaving there last night. And that was a great feeling for me.
good deal. Another takeaway on the weekend. I know, Kelly, you were keeping track of your race team down in Missouri. And as I watched the feature. Dude or somebody had it on live on Facebook.
Yeah, I might have been watching too while I was trying to follow some cars around. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I'm just so proud of them guys, man. They've really came out and they showed up. I mean, right? I mean, well, more than that. I mean, obviously, but congratulations, guys. That's a pretty big feat. I mean, seriously. Well done. 3
races to go in the season, and I know it's a couple tracks that Maya likes to run on, and Garrett, he's just good on every track.
Yeah, they've done great. Kudos to the guys taking care of 2 cars and 2 crews and 2. I mean, right? It just blows my mind. I can hardly remember what I had for lunch, and these guys are, it's like, love it though. Keep it up.
So three more races for the MLRA, as we mentioned. And how were the crowds down in Donaldson?
They were good. It's hard for me to pay attention to everything, though. I mean, I think there was more people there the first night, but that's like the normal night too. But there was more cars on the Saturday, and I might be way off. Honestly, I might be way off because it just depends on what my view is.
Sure.
But it was a great turnout. The weather was just perfect. I couldn't ask for any better weather. We should have had a little bit of that at the Fall Bash.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But I mean, I can't complain about the Fall Bash either. That was a blast, and it was a little cool, but a little wet one day. But hey, it's all good.
Hey, we gear for cold and wet for the Fall Bash, like we've talked about. Friday night down at Peoria, a couple things. 42 late models on hand down there.
Wow.
And that's also a great relationship that we're building with Brandon Dean, the owner down there, and Jeffrey Hall. And we appreciate, Jeff, that you started that relationship. We look forward to doing more with Brandon Dean and everybody else down at Peoria.
Put on a good show down there, man. Yeah.
And all the other tracks also, like Corey was saying, they did the trick or treat right there on the front straightaway. So a lot of kids doing that, and we were able to mess around a little bit. Went back and showed some replay of some of the heat races during intermission. So that was kind of fun. And
yeah.
And then also just a beautiful night down there as well. The track surface was good. Most everybody running the bottom and the middle, but a couple of guys, Bobby Pierce got up high, and so that was one thing I saw. Excuse me, Bobby Pierce started 10th, got up high, ended up 5th, but Brian Shirley's just a man on a mission. Boy, I think he won. He may have won LaSalle last night also, and he won Peoria. Brandon Shepard won at Fairbury on Saturday, and Brian Shirley ended up as the Mars champion.
Yeah.
And then, but congratulations to the guys down at Peoria that won their track championships. Also, one of those we had Jay Maruza running Sport Compact at the Bull Ring after he ran Peoria Friday. Was at the Bull Ring Saturday and Sunday. won the season championship feature, scored enough points to overtake the point leader and win the championship down there. So congratulations to Jay.
Oh, he had a great weekend. Then I talked to him Saturday night too. I didn't realize he won the championship there. Great weekend.
Yeah, won the feature and scored enough points to overtake the point leader down there and win the championship. And then one Saturday at the Bull Ring.
Yep.
And
We got to give away some gift cards
Yeah.
today, too. Don't forget. We
we were going to do that very next
more.
thing.
So-
Hey, and Jeremiah Hurst, Jake Benishek both just tuned in. Great runs. Jake Benishek, congratulations on your big win down at Donaldson. And Maya, man, we're proud of you. And go get them at Tri-City and Moberly this weekend. Bring home that championship. And I announced that you were the point leader at East Moline yesterday, and you got a big cheer out of that. So that was cool as well. So hey, we did do some giveaways yesterday, and to kind of talk about that, Kelly, and let's give some stuff away.
Yeah, and I apologize, man. I do this stuff just on a whim sometimes, but apparently you can't share a picture when you're on a live video.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either, but now I know that after I announced it. So, and then once people started, once it started coming in and stuff, I just got kind of behind, and then. So what I've done is I've wrote everybody that put hashtag bull ring for yesterday's race
On the live look in.
I put a ticket in the jar here, and since Corey's here, probably have him draw a couple or all of them or whatever.
Excellent.
We could do it. We need 6 of them. So whenever we want to do that, if you want to do that now, you want to draw a couple now.
Want to do 3 now, and we'll do 3
We'll
later.
do 3 now and 3 later. All right, reach in there and grab one.
And no, dude, you can't win again.
Yeah, right.
I had some pretty good draws when
There's one.
I had to draw for drivers yesterday. So
Did you really?
these
Hey, that was
lucky
one of the
people
funny
here.
things at Fall Bash. And in fact, we gave a couple guys a hard time yesterday or on
Right.
Saturday when they were doing the redraw thing. First couple times they drew were bats. Hey, try your left hand. And did that. So we got some winners.
All right, first one, Jeremy Marquette. So, and all you gotta do is message us, give me your address or something. We'll mail them out to you. You don't have to stop in or anything like that. If you're local and you want to stop in, that's great. So Jeremy Marquette is the first one.
I think he just lives a stone throw from here. He probably could get here.
Well,
before the
that
end of
could
the
be
show.
Megan Scudder. Congratulations, you get a gift card too. And the third one is Gene Richmond. I think that's Gene. Yeah, Gene Richmond. So there's our first 3. So congratulations. Just message us your address, or if you want to stop in, fantastic. That works too. So thanks for playing, and we'll draw a few more here in a minute. Hopefully that furnace shuts off. Is it hot in here?
Yeah, it was hot in here, but I was running around earlier. Now
It's set to shut off at 6 o'clock, so I need to change that on Mondays. You guys are probably baking in here when I'm not here.
Right now it's not bad, but hey, drivers of the week, and went through. One of them for me, Brian Shirley, obviously just dominated down at Peoria, and Jay Maruza also down at Peoria, and then what he did. So that's a couple. I know you didn't get to see a lot of races, but from what you heard and all that, what'd you think this weekend for drivers of the week?
Well, I noticed that Shirley picked up, would you say, the Mars Championship, the Summer Nationals Championship, the National Championship for UMP. Wow. in a shortened COVID season, I guess there shouldn't be an asterisk on that, though. I mean, he
Championship.
Yeah,
right?
all these races here in Illinois this year, it was Shepard or Shirley if Shepard showed up, hats off to him. What a great season to see that on the super level. You don't see that too often anymore. There's a lot of parity up there, so which is good. And yeah, like you said at our track, I didn't get to see a lot of races, but to racers in general, thanks for coming out this year. I mean, I had a lot of guys tell me, but I don't think I'd want to race in front of fans, and things like that. And they came out and they did their part, and like I was saying earlier, things got different at our track, and they still kept coming though, and I can't thank them enough. So all drivers, you're all drivers of the week. You're all drivers of the year for me. So
I agree
thank
with
you. Yeah.
That's very good. And another one I got to mention is Logan Velos, and I've been talking about him for a couple of weeks. That car, I don't know what they did to it, but it's a rocket ship, and he picked up the win in dominating fashion yesterday. And he beat some dirt car guys that were there. So Logan Velos won in the Sport Mod feature yesterday during the Tricksters and Cheaters Day, and that one was a long time coming. He'd been so close, so many times, and had some bad luck or something along that line. Was running second to Brandon Bollinger a week ago, and about had that one and had something go awry. But he got the win yesterday, so the master, congratulations, Logan Velos, one of my other drivers of the week. And then Shane Kelly, I gave him a driver of the week last week as well. But he won a feature at the Bull Ring in the Sport Compact over the weekend. And when he won a week ago during the Bull Ring Invasion, that was his first win of 2020. Picked up $1,000. Then went Friday night down to Tri-City, won another $1,000, and then he picked up the feature win yesterday at the Bull Ring. So he got hot at the end of the season.
That's great.
Congratulations to Shane Kelly. Hey, so some things going on. We're gonna get into the review now. That's why Corey is here, just kind of review the season, and you've talked a little bit about it and some of the. And some of the generic stuff and the general stuff started with the racing surface, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever. But a lot things went for your first year for the Peterson family. A lot went good, I think.
Well, that's great to hear because we thought we kind of knew what to do going in, but it turns out there was a lot to learn.
Everybody thinks that. Don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah. As a former racer, I knew a lot about the operations part of it. As far as it'd be cool if you had these classes. It'd be great for people love these cars, whatever. And the operation part of draw and all that. But as far as ordering food and ordering porta potties and dumpsters and everything, the power bill. And
I think you guys all did great, man. So
well, thank you very
whatever
much.
That matters. I mean, it was great to work with you guys. I mean,
it means
seriously.
a lot. And the people close to us can tell that we're trying. And maybe at the beginning of the year we got in a hole, kind of, I'd say, with no fans, and I mean that's a lot of fans up there. It's pretty obvious that that's a huge chunk just gone, Sure. But so maybe we weren't able to up staff, and maybe I shouldn't have tried to do 10 jobs at once, but we were already talking last night, Brett, Doug, and you and we're back there with us, and we got a lot of great ideas, a lot of great experience, and talking right there, and we're gonna have a staff meeting again. We're gonna get a plan, and I know, a lot of things, kind of decisions were made that were not what I wanted, but kind of had to be because of precedents that were set earlier in the year. I don't want to change something halfway through the season and make a drastic change. There was one rule change in street stocks that I made for the race at the end of the year, but it just not things like that, but I'm talking bigger things like changing who's doing the tech or something. You can't change that in the middle of the year. The first year is a wash basically, once you change the way you do things, I think. So we didn't want to make any drastic changes right away, and I know that looks like we're being lazy, not doing it right, whatever, but we just kind of saw it as, we have to ride a few things out, make a list, get our staff together, what we do wrong, what we do right, what can we do better, and pretty much go from there. So I know there's some work to be done, and we got a plan. One thing, in safety is a huge thing in my eyes. There's going to be a zero tolerance probably for any unsafe conditions that are created by people on the racetrack or anything like that. I'd like to have a separate tech just walking around checking seat belts, checking helmets, making sure they're not 20 years old and stuff like that. So that's huge, but I hope it doesn't deter drivers from wanting to come there, because you shouldn't be unsafe at the racetrack anyway. And that's, seeing all those kids out there yesterday, it puts things in perspective. Tires come off, fly in the crowd. Yeah, I mean, there's kids everywhere. Drivers come off mad. There's kids in the pit area. I mean,
that's the future of the sport right there.
Yeah, and we're not going to stand for it's them being in jeopardy down there, their safety being in jeopardy in the pits or anything either. So I want to allow kids in the pits. Bring your family down there with you. Make it family oriented, but at the same time, it's not the safest. And there's 3,000-pound machines flying around. It's not exactly safe for kids. So, but if we had a few more liaisons or so down there, maybe we could help with that. Speaking of that, down there in the pit area, if I'm going too long, just stop me. But
no, we're talking about your race truck, buddy. Keep going.
I felt like we needed some security. Yeah, I can go break up a fight. My golf cart's only so fast though, because I'm not running. And I'm trying to catch the racing action, so I know that what happens. I was out there in the infield, but I probably should have someone down there in the pit area ready to go, ready to as soon as something happens on the racetrack. Hey, follow these guys to their pit, whatever. Some things could have been prevented this year at the bull ring, that's for sure, and some of that's on me. But like I said, I'm not going to lie about we were behind the 8 ball, and we just did not have capacity to say, okay, bring me 10 more guys with experience. Because you don't just go grab these guys off the shelf and plug them in. Yep, there's a lot of variables, and well, that guy's this guy's brother, and that guy's,
Of course.
A lot of stuff. And, we're not the only one that races on Sunday nights. Dubuque, a lot of people work up there and stuff. So, I don't know. Overall, we know we have work to do. And I guess I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not going to be shy about it. And I'm going to work on it. That's all there is to it. Todd and I who Alicia and I are going to work on it. So we'll do whatever is needed. We'll listen to everybody, and we'll do what it takes to make the bull ring better yet. It can only get better, that's for sure.
Well, you got the right attitude about it. There's nothing that's ever perfect, but there's also nothing when it comes to promoting that's all bad. So you got some good things, some good levels. Some people chiming in here. Nick Jensen, track photographer. Corey, my friend, you guys did a great job. I totally agree, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Jenny Smith, and part of the Peterson family promotion, says thank you, Done Right TV. And now thank you, Jenny, for letting us be a part of it. Justin Velos, thanks, guys. Logan is starting to be a wheel man. Thanks for an awesome track. Can't wait till next season. Jacob Hoffman, J-Hoff, comes in. How about Waters passing street stocks? Yeah, that was pretty cool yesterday. He had his hobby stock out there running with the street stocks. Brad Canuti says, keep late models. Think all tracks need that class in their weekly shows. Derek Wilson says, I do enjoy a promoter's mind. Keep picking, please. Yeah, that's my job today. We're gonna keep picking. But how about the relationship, Kelly, with between Done Right and Peterson Family Promotion? I remember
it's amazing.
It has been amazing. I mean, I remember you and I sitting with Todd at lunch way back in December, whenever that was, and
none of us knew what the hell we were doing.
No.
I mean, it was before. I mean, and seriously, who could have predicted any of that?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, for what happened. So, kudos. And every promoter that we worked with, I don't have any complaints about any of them. I mean, we're all behind the 8 ball this year, man.
Yeah.
Every one of us, right? So kudos for even going at it. I mean, because you sent it.
Well, I think you should be recognized too, though, because you had this innovative idea before it was relied upon. You it was relied upon when there were no fans allowed in the stands. You needed people to watch it still, otherwise there's no point. You could only have so many people in the pits or whatever with you. But you had this idea before there was a pandemic, before anything happened. We were talking about a bull ring TV thing, all kinds of stuff, and this, you had that on board way before anything. So
I appreciate that.
Yep.
For sure. And I don't know, I see weird stuff. I mean, but I mean, I'm excited. We didn't get done near as much as we planned, but we thought we were going to get 3 or 4 tracks.
Right.
And we ended up at what, 20?
Yeah, well, I think we hit 20 different venues this year.
Right. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, I mean, so yeah, man, it never goes the way you think it does, but just do it.
Yep.
Figure it out, So
Well, it was nice to have such a great relationship with the bull ring, and made it easy. And you and I had a lot of fun up there calling races, even without fans in the stands.
Oh yeah, it kind of gave as a first time promoter, it was a little less nerve wracking, I guess, you know, with no fans behind you, breathing down your neck. It was.
Yeah, they were all breathing down mine.
Announcing was so much fun. I'd love to be able to do that again. And like I said, maybe if we hire 5 to 10 more people, I can do that again.
That's right. Cody Smith says, great job. Thanks for having the mechanics and the powder puff races yesterday. So yeah, those were good, especially the powder puff races. Mechanics races, you drivers, that all you did was jump into other cars. Shame on you.
Yeah. And one more thing, while we're talking about tracks and promoters and the different venues we've been at, I'd really like an opportunity for all the people we worked with this year, plus more, if we want to, and not that if, hopefully we want to continue. We want to continue with all the tracks we were at. In the off season, I wouldn't mind running some lines and stuff at our cost.
Right.
If we want to do a second camera, because we've updated to a different computer, so now we can run permanent lines and we can leave them there, so we're not scrambling and trying to do the wireless. Some of the problems we had this year was all the wireless stuff. When it works great. But I'm willing to, I'd want to be exclusive. I don't want to just anybody coming in there doing, using our stuff. But I would like to run a couple, so that way when we get there, we just plug stuff in, turn everything on, and we're ready to go.
That'd be awesome.
So I'll put that out there. Davenport, 30, all of them. If we're going to be there next year, let's make it plug and play. And
it sure worked at the tracks that we had it. That we installed it at. Yeah,
34. Just for the last few weeks, we left an Ethernet and an XLR cable. But my God, Rob, how much time did that save us?
Oh, a ton.
Right, and we just coiled it up and put it in a little bag in the corner, and it worked out great. So, and that was part of my plan too. And again, if anybody wants to think about putting TVs in the concession stands and stuff like that, it's the off season for us too, right? So. And that was part of my plan too. I wanted to have a TV in the back, and I just got the darn thing. It just got it wrapped. So we got no drone footage this year. So, but it is what it is, right? I had all these things going on, but I can't complain one bit. I think we all did a hell of a job, and for even the drivers and everybody, man. It's been a challenging year for everybody.
Adaptive. That'd be a good way to describe it. Everybody had to adapt one way or the other. And what Garrick Wilson, he says, I'd like to hear the balance of being friendly yet needing to crack down at times. No names, just situations. What do you think about that?
Well, it's a very tough balance, because drivers are not only our
passionate
friends, they're subcontractors also, kind of. They're, unfortunately, as a promoter, I have to kind of look at it as the drivers are our product. And our product relies on what drivers show up, what drivers go out there. If there's not enough, if there's a lot, if there's good ones, bad ones, whatever. So you have to treat them all equally in that respect, because you want the best product out there. And you don't want to, you can't run anyone off just because of what you think. You have to... I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is you have to treat everyone the same, kind of. They're all equal out there, but with the product part, what I was getting at was basically we have to treat those drivers, keep them coming back. So you don't jump to conclusions right away. I learned that right away. I made some errors early this year by jumping to conclusions. I put some trust in people that maybe I shouldn't have, and then things were told to me, and then I find out the truth later. And unfortunately, there's not cameras everywhere. I can't see everything. I only have 2 eyes. I'd love to have more. Believe me, but so when an incident happens and you're trying to find that balance, it starts off calm. To me, it always starts off calm. I have to. Otherwise, being calm will calm someone else down. And also, you come off as a neutral party, which they don't always see it that way, And it's amazing how many times the driver gets taken out by another driver, but it's the track's fault. So that always gets me. But you have to.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Because we were on it. So I learned you have to kind of walk into things objectively, and that's hard. I raced with a lot of these guys for 15 years, and that it's hard to erase those feelings and stuff. And that's to get into a little more about this. We're talking about, maybe having a driver manager too next year. I'll be honest, I'm not the best people person. I'm not the best manager. Somebody yells at me, I'll probably yell back, and that's not really what I want at my business, and I'll admit it. So I don't know. It's hard to find that balance. It really is. I don't know that I've actually ever found it. Usually for me, I start off calm, and when things get bad, that's when you have to be stern. I mean, otherwise you're just going to let I hate to use this, the inmates run the prison. Don't say asylum, prison. So yeah, that's the old cliche though. Yeah, inmates run the asylum. You can't allow that. So that's when you have to get stern. And luckily, my officials are great at that. Like I said, I'm not the greatest at it, and I'll admit it. So if you run up to me with your problems, you're probably just going to yell at a wall for a little while until I figure out what happened, because I learned earlier this year, you don't jump to conclusions. You don't agree to something, because if you go back on what you said, it looks a lot worse. And that happened to me a few times. And so I'm working on finding that balance, buddy. But you raise your voice when you have to. You lay down the law when you have to. And easier said than done, but that's how it goes.
Sure. A lot of listening is involved rather than
yeah, absolutely. And just this past Saturday, we had some incidents. I don't know if people thought it was a free pass to act crazy at the bull ring or what, but it's a hard balance to get them calmed down anyway.
Absolutely. Hey, Justin Velos says thanks to Dunright TV. He was away in Louisiana for a month, and I knew that. I mentioned that announcing he's helping out after Hurricane Laura, and he was able to tune in and watch and watch the guys and watch Logan race. And Jay Hoff says, Kelly and the team, you guys killed it. Keep pushing. Kyle Hawkins, it's nice being able to rewatch the races the next day with you guys. Appreciate it. And there's a guy who had a good season at the bull ring with Kyle Hawkins.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this first year racing? I think was it or
it might be that first full season.
Okay, so yeah. Watching those cars, he was the first one. We had our first special, the Burt Peterson Memorial. He won that night, and boy, his enthusiasm was just contagious. Kind of, he's got that. I don't know. He's just a guy that you see in the pits, and nobody's gonna not be happy to see him. I guess I don't know. He's an energetic guy, happy guy. Always great to see him. He's always got great things to say at our track too. So yeah, and clean racer too. It's nice to watch him race. These guys come in from out of town and try to take one from us, and he's one of the ones right there standing up and going at it. So it's cool.
Good deal. Jacob Ellithorpe was down running the Ron Marks Memorial. It was good to see him in his IMCA stock car. And he says we need Dunright TV in Maquoketa. We couldn't agree more, Jacob. we would love to be up there. That's
where it all started.
Yeah, that's where it all started.
There in Dubuque.
The live streams in Maquoketa in Dubuque, and we would love to be back. We were up there for the MLRA race, and I know that wasn't the regular promotion, but we had a lot of fun.
Hey, Jacob, I've got a Best Appearing Car award for you, too, for that night. I haven't posted it yet, but you got the most likes there on Facebook too, so I'll get that to you.
And well deserved. That's a nice looking machine. Joe Bonney says track prep was good this week. Keep up the awesome work, and next time I'm leading. We need to run less laps.
Probably a few people that would like that, wouldn't they?
Well, Joe, I remember I think you won when it was a 50 lap race when you won the deal. So this was a 30. But yeah, Joe led the early laps of that one, and he and Zach Zuberbeer just have a great relationship on the track. It looks like. Yeah,
great chemistry there. Kind of, you get a couple guys up front, and you just kind of get your popcorn and get ready for watch a great battle. And those are two guys that when they're out front, you're like, okay, let's watch this. And then you had that night, I got to watch a little bit of that. I of course went and watched the replay. Henry was putting the pressure on early. Peterson was out front a little bit early. Just a pretty good race, minus a caution in the middle there. But,
Absolutely. thanks, Brett, for reminding me. We were talking about the Hawkins, Kyle and Travis, the brothers. They picked up the team challenge both nights this weekend.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, so that's
awesome.
They had the team challenge. For those that didn't know, I announced it Saturday. I don't think I said much about it yesterday, only because I didn't know who the teams were on yesterday. But on the two drivers didn't matter what class you were in, could team up, and the best finishes then won some extra money. And Kyle and Travis won the team challenge both nights, Saturday and Sunday. Mitch Current was there yesterday with his street stock, and he had fun. He chimes in and says, hey, he had fun running the street stock at the bull ring yesterday. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mitch.
Happy birthday.
Definitely. And Kyle says, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And Donald Cole, thanks for bringing Hobby Stocks on. So I know that's and well, thank you, Donnie, and all the Coles. Boy, they were a big addition to that.
Absolutely. Once that field started to hit, 7 or 8 cars, okay, let's see a race. Not to take anything away from the guys who've been there all year. Steve Cox had a good year. He learned a lot, and he's ready for next year. I talked to him yesterday, and congratulations to him on his championship and that. But as I've mentioned several times when we were broadcasting and stuff, the Hobby Stocks are kind of what I started in. It was called Cruisers back then, but we started on the radial tires and just a 4-post cage and the firewall and everything's there. And I always thought it was a great starter class because as great as sport compacts are, you learn it's too huge of a step. I feel like sometimes to go to a car where like a street stock where the tail's coming around so easily, I guess some of these guys with their sport compacts, it looks like the tail goes around easier, but hey, it always straightens out, and I'm always amazed when it straightens out how they do. I've never driven one, so I can't say anything about them. They're fun, but Hobby Stocks and all rear-wheel drive, it's different, obviously. So, but the hobbies are a nice way to learn how to take it easy because you're on radial tires. When you need to, you can learn a lot in it, just with that extra power. And I know a lot of the compact guys are talking about trying it out, and that is really exciting. I know a few have been bought around here recently, and Hobby Stocks are here to stay at the bull ring next year, that's for sure. So, and I'm looking for a 10 to 12 car field. Yeah, definitely. Thank you to the Coles, like I said, because when those fields started to get a little, better, it was great to see.
See, Zach Dominguez is watching, and so a part of the Mod Light Racing Dominguez, Triple D Motorsports, Team Taco, all of them together, and I know that was one class that was kind of on the bubble going into this year, and I know Burlington had dropped them, and there were some other tracks that they wanted to go race, and the promoters said no, and you stuck with them, and I think they came through this year. Absolutely,
all good shows. Seeing those cars out there, I don't know if I ever raced with Zemo in it. No, I don't think I had a late model when he did. But, I watched him race for a long time. I watched RJ race for a long time. And, those guys, the races are just as fun as anything else to me to watch. We know they're just as fast as the other cars. We saw that at Open House and a few other times. We wanted to kind of challenge them to, do a challenge like that. But in the issue of safety, when those bumpers are just right next to the mud lights heads, it's kind of tough to allow them to race side by side, I guess. But we know they're fast, and yeah, that class was so fun to watch. And the younger people in that division, it's great to see. And the Dominguez Triple D team, that is an awesome team. They do a lot. They've done so much with the candy. Things like that for the kids, always donating. They donated these giant bags of toys one night. I don't remember what night it was. I think the back to school night maybe, but just so awesome to see. They're always doing things like that. And yeah, we love Mod Lights at our track too. So I hope if you guys maybe want to get some more, they got their 800 to win show the other night. And then how about Zemo's wing last night? That was pretty cool.
That was really cool. And I liked it. He said his child painted it and that kind of thing, and he said something about it. His dad did that a long time ago or something. So that was cool. I love Zemo's wing. And let's see, somebody says the Hobby Stocks, Jeff K. Peterson, the Hobby Stocks are out of control already. You know what? They're IMCA rules, so we go by the bull ring goes by the IMCA rules, and I mean that but I think it's a class that will grow.
Yeah, and another reason I like them so much is, there are street stocks around here. That's about the only class I kind of know, for obvious reasons. But they were tamed down a little bit to try to get IMCA cars to come, maybe so that the IMCAs weren't outmatched. It's a balance now between trying to keep the outlaw cars from being too outlaw, I guess, to compete with the other guys and get the other classes to want to come. And it was pretty obvious that this year at the Bull Ring that the street stocks are only going to come from east and south, than UMP country we're talking here. So any street stocks listening, that we're going to have a meeting for you too. We're going to see what we can do to, I saw it a lot Saturday, are these UMP guys or these outlaw guys. I mean, why can't we just all be street stocks? That's what I want. I want it to make everything more fair. And it's not going to be up to me. It's going to be up to them. So they're going to have to show up if they want to see some rules changed and stuff. So we'll get that out there soon. But anyhow, I'd like to see the Outlaws be more outlaw. I feel like the UMP cars can do a little bit more. And so, I mean, if they can, let's bring our cars up to speed or whatever we need to do. And I'm not an expert on it. I'm just saying that's what I think we should do. I want it to be more competitive. I want both sides to be happy. Them UMP guys, I want them to be happy and able to come race. There's no reason we should exclude anybody just because they don't live in the Quad Cities or whatever. But so then if you don't want it to be more outlaw, if you don't like the idea of opening it up, hobby stocks are there if you want something restricted a little more.
Sure. Jake Ellithorpe again, thanks guys, and the track was awesome for a day race. Usually it's hard to keep it from being too dusty no matter what you do. I will be back as much as I can next year, and so
great.
That was great.
Thanks, Jake.
Jacob, we loved seeing you down there, and you had a good run. You had a good run on Saturday in the Marks Memorial. Randy Welch, why so many classes? And so that did come up, and I know that's something that you guys pondered before you took over, 7 classes and that kind of thing. Thought process and your thoughts on how it went this year.
Well, I thought overall it was really okay. I was worried some nights that it wouldn't be. We wanted to work in the midgets, the late models, the super late models, the vintage late models. We wanted a lot of exhibitions, and there wasn't going to be any room if we ran all of our 7 classes each night. So, and looking at that for next year, I don't know. We'll talk about that, but it's just an overall car count. To fill the program, you need a certain number of cars, and our track is always going to kind of struggle, I think, just because it's on the border of IMCA country and UMP country, and it's right in the middle. Guys can go either way, and that's why I kind of thought that Invasion might be a good idea. More or less, we needed to run a show that night because we haven't had a lot of shows, and the only way to fill our field, I felt like, after a 3-day show of most of our guys going to a 3-day show, was to try to bring up some that weren't there. So overall, that was a pretty good night. I liked that. It was cool to see some of those guys there. It would have been nice to see some limited late models, but whatever. The UMP mods were cool to watch. But so we know that we're restricted, and that's the reason for the classes. If I was guaranteed we would get 24 mods, 24 sport mods, 20 street stocks, 20 hobbies every night, that would be great for those 4. And I'm sorry, sport compacts, I love you too. And mod lights for sure. But I don't know. It would the classes that are there the most, so right now we are at highest average by far with sport compacts.
Sure.
And we look at these numbers now, and our modifieds were down at the end of the year. It's not like we're going to drop modifieds, but I'm just saying, we need to. That'll determine if there needs to be a 6th or 7th class kind of thing like that, and that's what we look at. It's the overall car count we're going for. We do like to have a great product, and so when we end up with a lot of cars in one class, that's great. But we got to do whatever it takes to make the show full. Go all night. We can't just come run 2 hours. That's not profitable for anybody, But whatever. It's not entertaining for anybody either. So.
Yeah, Sunday night track, you're gonna get both ends, and I know from the TV
Sunday
standpoint, having a lot of different race cars really helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, We like seeing a lot of race cars and a lot of different cars. It really makes it work for the TV end of it. Mitch Curran says, I see there was only 4 street stocks from Iowa and the rest were from Illinois. Yeah, I didn't think of that. I didn't count, but that sounds good. And Julie Baker Britt, and if I said your name wrong, I'm sorry, Julie. A lot of people I talked to actually like the earlier starting time. Is that something that would possibly work for next season? Now, I remember beginning of the season, we did 4 o'clock hot laps, and that was kind of your plan, but track conditions just weren't conducive to that in the hot weather.
Yeah, we had to do something about the dust right away. I think our first COVID race, I call them now, COVID races. we started at noon. Didn't we do like a noon to 2 and then a 2:30 to 4:30? I mean, wow, looking back on that, what a bad idea, but it's the only way we could race, and so... But hey, we raced and learned what not to do right away, at least. But,
I thought the double flights of races. I thought that was great. I thought that was a great idea. And then once we got out of the limits so much, I know we started at 4 o'clock, but then that lasted a couple of weeks and had to go back to the 5 o'clock hot laps.
Yeah. So I would love to. I have to be to work early Monday mornings myself, and it's so. I was a big proponent of let's try to get them done by 8 and never have to worry about curfew. I mean, why push it all the way to curfew was my thought. I mean, there's no reason to push it that close or pay a fine every other week, things like that. But unfortunately, I didn't know anything about the surface and it just couldn't handle it, and especially during the humid, when it gets really hot and humid, it just can't handle it when there's no water and it dries up as fast as you're putting it on, so it. You can say we're not using the water truck, but that's just it. It dries as fast as you put it on, and so.
Well, I think they got a handle on that late in the season, so an earlier start again may be possible because the track certainly changed as the season went on.
And I shouldn't really say that because I don't know if that's the case. I don't claim to know the track. People yell at me about the track all the time. Well, you should have did this and that, but hey, I'm the accountant, the webmaster, the driver manager, but I don't do that, whatever. No, the track's been great the last few races and that, and I won't say anything bad about the people who were working on it before or anything either. It was all of us. We were all trying to figure it out and, what was best and everything. So there were still cars that went around. Yeah, there was a few bumpy nights, but I said yesterday, I told those guys at the drivers' meeting, you guys that stuck with us and didn't give up on us after one rough night or a couple rough nights, I mean, thank you very much. And I seriously mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I thought on the Sport Compact side, it was great seeing all the guys from Macomb and Pekin and Peoria there on a Sunday night. And those guys had to get up and go to work early Monday morning. And Jimmy Duttlinger was one of them, and he had a few wins. And he says, love the effort and passion that you guys put into the show week in, week out. East Moline is a driver's track.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up, Jimmy. And he's a very passionate driver as well, and love having guys like that in your field because like the same thing with Hawkins. It's just the kind of people you want out there. Easy to root for them. Not that I'm able to root for anybody, but they're just such nice guys. So can we have that conversation real quick though about look at all those guys from down south in our 2 unsanctioned classes. The Sport Compacts and the Street Stocks. Look at those fields that they get. The only way they get filled, the only way they get any more cars, is from east and south. We had a $3,000 to win modified race, IMCA modifieds. Obviously, the car count wasn't what we wanted. Some whatever. But I don't know if it's because it's Iowa, scared to cross the bridge, scared to, the bull ring. What the mystique of it, the reputation it had for years, whatever, couldn't get them to come, but we can get them to come for the unsanctioned parts. So I'm not saying we should unsanction everything. I'm just saying it. When you look at the car counts, take that into account. That you go west of here, it's all IMCA. You go east to here, we're the furthest east. Maybe. Well, I don't know. I don't know the latitude, longitude, but we're definitely we're obviously the only Illinois track. So we're right on the edge, and it's going to be tough to draw one or the other even, no matter which way you go. So it's kind of a tough spot, but hey, I'm in it, and we're going to try to get more cars no matter what. And that's the only reason I say about the street stocks. Let's even them up. Let's make it a great show. Let's, if we had 24 street stocks and 24 sport compacts every night, you're the main event every night. It's your pay goes up every night. That's what we would do for something like that. So, and that's all I'm looking for. I want the best product out there, and that usually means the most cars possible. And so, I don't know. Hey, if if we average 8 IMCA modifieds next year, we might have to look at doing something else. But I'm not giving up on anything that we did this year, though. Those guys that ran their butts off and supported us all year deserve to keep doing that. And it used to be, when I was racing, it was Davenport, Maquoketa, East Moline. That's what guys did. So the rules were all going to be the same. Everything was going to be the same. And I don't know that it's the same environment now, honestly. Just to throw that out and let everybody have that conversation. I'd like to have that conversation with some people. Like, what do you do right here on the cusp?
And that's another thing. The street stock guys. The street stock guys would love to go run Maquoketa or a couple other tracks, and there's just something that there's just a wall there. They can't get into these other tracks, but they show up at Davenport and East Moline and run their butts off. We had a good field of them up in Tipton for the Fall Bash. I know that was a special, but some of these regular tracks, they just can't get into. Just no interest, or they don't travel well, whatever the deal is.
Yeah, and it's sad, the same with, it's like super late models. Why is there got to be 20 different, sanctions you can do or whatever? And unfortunately for the streets, there's not that many, for them, but you do have USRA. If you go a little further south, you have a few different things, and I don't know what the solution is for it. I'm just looking at what we got, and I used to race street stocks. So I'm saying, what can we do to make this the best class there is, and to me, it's just so cool to see a car that looks like a car. Sure. When you're talking to somebody who doesn't know racing at all, and they look at a modified, it's, well, that's just a bunch of metal, or what, whatever. But a street stock, they can say, oh, okay, yeah, that's a race car.
Even back when the modified started, you can go up and say, okay, way back when Keith Knack started the IMCA modifieds, and it was, they put the Pintos and the Vega bodies and that. Okay, what body is? Oh, that's a Vega on there. And now you ask a modified body.
Yep.
That's all it is. But hey, whatever. As far as the coverage from the TV standpoint of it, it's amazing. Because I've watched a lot of the replays and that kind of thing. It's amazing what we can do. We can actually bring that speed to the screen. There's a lot of the TV platforms that don't actually show the speed. Kelly.
Yeah. We just got caught up. There's a lot of stuff, man. And I mean, we didn't do any in-car stuff hardly this year. I mean, but that's okay, right? I mean, I'm excited about next year. I'm excited about a little bit of an off season. Of course, there's not going to be much. I mean, I'm going to stay busy. Hopefully, we all stay busy. But room to grow never hurts, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, so we need to draw 3 more tickets, so because I know it's getting close. So.
Yeah, let's do that, and let's draw our 3 more tickets, and then we'll toss the checker flag on this one.
Yeah, I saw the ticker when I was watching the Friday night races too. The lineup on the left there, that was really cool to see too, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to still mess with that. Some people didn't like it on the left there, so we're going to put it back at the top.
Well, and I mean, that's what we had to deal with, right? Because that's the system that Peoria, that's the system that the track used. The good thing is we can use My Race Pass, or what was that one called?
Race Monitor.
Race Monitor. So we can use both now. So that's just, that's part of our growth, is being able to go to them tracks. And, it's just nice to have the live scoring, especially on the longer races where, like some of them late model races, you might not have a caution for 50 laps.
Right.
Well, the cars are scattered all over the place. And think it's hard to follow at home, try to be behind the camera. Because it's like, what? I mean, you can follow the one guy, but once you let off with the other ones, they're going so fast that you can't keep track of who's passing behind the leader. So I mean, I get it that it's a pain for us too, believe me.
No doubt.
But
who's our winners?
Well, let's see. We got Josh Ditto or Jason Ditto, Dawn Barkley. And
Is that a duplicate?
it's a duplicate. Megan Scudder. She must have. I just went through and hit all the likes and put a name on her, so she won twice. So,
Oh, you want to draw another one?
maybe we should draw another
Yeah,
one.
we'll draw another one.
All right.
Otherwise, Megan will be taking all of us out
Yeah.
together.
Right. Who we got? Same thing again.
No.
Courtney Brink. So Courtney Brink. Courtney Brink, Jason Ditto, Dawn Barkley, and from earlier, Jeremy Marquette, Megan Scudder, and Gene Richmond. Congratulations. Email or face message us on Facebook. Give me your address you want to stop in. Great. Next week, are you? I think I'm probably going to be in Florida. So,
Yeah, I think we'll take next Monday off probably.
Okay. Just wanted to get that out there. We got Oskaloosa next week.
Yep.
I got some stuff coming up in Florida. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it yet. We got Georgia coming
Georgia
up in a
in
couple
November.
weeks, November.
Yep, November
And
20th,
then,
21st.
Donaldson, we got the 31st. We got a show on 31st in Donaldson, right?
And November 7th at CJ.
Seat Columbus Junction, November 7th. What else? Is that it for now?
And that's it for now. All that we can announce. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
December, we're definitely going to have a show. We'll have that coming up, and got some shows already scheduled for February.
Awesome. Okay.
Awesome. Well, what a great show. Hey, thanks as always, buddy. Appreciate you coming in.
Hey, no problem at all. And I know like I said, I was running on about 3 hours of sleep here, so sorry if I got a little off track or even forgot what I was talking about in the middle of a sentence. But appreciate everybody listening, and again, thanks everybody for helping with the bull ring this year. We'll be better next year, and couldn't appreciate everything you do more. Couldn't do without you. Especially you guys also.
Well, we'll
All
be
you
there.
guys out there in Facebook and out at the tracks, I mean, thank you. We couldn't have done it without any of you. So, and I love what we're doing here. So we don't plan to slow down. We're going to keep our foot on the gas. So, and we're open, man. I'm open for input. I'm open for suggestions. I want to do it all. So, I mean, but yeah, thanks for everybody's support, all the tracks we've been at, and hopefully we can add some more tracks, and hopefully we can get some more drivers, and who knows where we're going to end up.
Sky's the limit.
Maybe we'll have a TV show someday.
You never know.
I mean, I know some people at Dish. It's maybe they should.
That's right.
You never know. You never know. So
Right. Hey, sky's the limit as always, and congratulations again on a great year, Corey, at the Bull Ring and all of the Peterson family. For Corey Peterson, for Kelly Jeffries, I'm Rob Hinckley. Check her flag out on this Go Fast, and again, you can listen again on your favorite podcast platform. We'll have that up on the podcast platforms tomorrow, and again, no Go Fast next Monday. So we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks. God bless, and see you at the track. I always forget how to shut us off.